It is being filled by the present company that is operating now.
You are refilling it now?
Yes.
Where is the example of it?
You can go to that side.
Complementary mining framework to a much more rationally ordered, organized mining.
On stream.
Yes, this is what we do. These are minerals occur in all the states of Nigeria, in all the local governments.
Yeah. That's a very powerful analogy.
Yes.
We had a big job in our hands.
We must increase the level of beneficiation and processing locally.
Nigeria is blessed with vast deposits of many world-class solid minerals like bitumen, gold, coal, lead, zinc, tin, iron ore, limestone and many more. Quite a number of them are found in great commercial quantities. The spread is such that there is no state in the country that is without one form of mineral deposit or the other, making Nigeria a major stakeholder in the global solid minerals sector.
It's been said that we have 44 mineral types, but some of us have said we have much more than that, because sometimes when you classify a mineral like gemstone, Nigeria has not less than about 16 different types of gemstones in commercial quantities. So if you just look at it and say gemstone, that's one group. And then when we also look at clays, we also always just say clays. But there are different types of clays in which Nigeria is endowed with, and in diverse commercial quantities.
By the 1940s, Nigeria was already a major producer and exporter of tin columbite and coal. The projected growth of the mining sector was however stalled following the discovery of oil in 1956. With the advent of oil, the exploration, exploitation and processing of solid minerals was relegated to the background by successive governments in the country. The effect has been very manifest. Nigeria imports a number of minerals that it can produce and even export. In fact, the potentials in the solid minerals sector have merely remained on paper, rarely going beyond 0.3% contribution to the nation's GDP, as against the 4 to 5% it contributed during independence. Hope on regaining the lost glory of the solid minerals subsector of the nation's economy was rekindled with the coming on stream of the APC administration under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari. Diversification of the nation's revenue base was made a priority by the administration, and mining was identified as one of the sectors with the potentials to deliver Nigeria from dependence on oil. This is bearing in mind that while oil prices have continued to drop in the last 2 years, the price of solid minerals has maintained an upward trend.
What we are seeing now shows that there is a seriousness in really tapping this dormant, treasure that could get Nigeria out of the woods. Solid minerals occur in all the states of Nigeria, in all the local governments. And I used to tell somebody, in all the towns and villages. All the towns and villages. Look, how did our people build their mud huts? What did they use in building the mud huts? Clays, laterites. Those are mineral resources.
In order to translate these potentials to reality, the President, in his wisdom, carefully considered and appointed someone that is synonymous with results to do the job. Therefore, the task of changing the face and fortune of the solid mineral subsector was placed on the shoulders of Dr. Kayode Fayemi, as Minister and Alhaji Abubakar Bawo Buhari as Minister of State.
None of us had any inkling of the portfolio we were going to be given. Mr. President kept that close to his chest. Well, as someone who had worked very closely with him as Director of Policy and Strategy during the campaign, I knew, I had a sense of his areas of focus, of his passion, his priorities, and what he wanted to achieve in office. So I knew I could be asked to go anywhere. But as to whether I knew anything about mining, no, I'm an accidental miner.
Dr. Kayode Fayemi and his team wasted no time in taking charge of a sector many would have described as too technical for a layman. But like the minister himself says, he had what it takes to put the solid minerals sector on the path of prosperity.
I have a lot of knowledge of policy making, of policy interpretation, and of policy implementation. In my previous work experience, I was a governor of a state, and as governor of a state, I was minister of all the various departments that I superintended over. So I was Minister for Works, Minister for Health, Minister for everything.
Known for his stance in promoting efficiency, transparency and getting results, Dr. Fayemi attacked the challenges bedeviling the solid minerals sector with a desire to see change. 2 years down the lane, the Ministry of Solid Minerals and Steel Development has seen change by making landmark achievements that the nation will look back on for decades and be grateful for the Fayemi era. Upon appointment as a minister, Dr. Kayode Fayemi and his deputy wasted no time in getting to know the issues and the players. This involved touring mining sites across the country to see firsthand what was on ground.
For the first time in a long time, we changed all the federal mines officers. So you will have noticed that you have a new mines officer.
Town hall meetings in various states like Lagos, Ogun, Enugu and Ebonyi states were organized by the ministry, during which the Honorable Minister rubbed minds with miners and officials of the state governments so that the federal government's intention for the sector would be shared by all, even as the meetings provided a forum to get acquainted with issues as they affected miners.
Oh, good to be here.
Coming from that familiarization period, a team was put together to collate all that the minister and his team had seen and to draw up a roadmap to address the challenges and then move the mining sector forward. The roadmap for the development of the mining sector became the working document. It was unveiled in August 2016. It aspires to build a world-class minerals and mining ecosystem designed to serve a targeted domestic and export market for minerals and ores. To ensure that this roadmap does not go the way of others, a mining implementation and strategy team, MIST, was inaugurated by the minister on the 19th of December 2016 with clear terms of reference.
To develop a framework for monitoring and evaluating the implementation process and progress. Identify baselines, implementation inputs, outputs, outcomes, measurement tools, and their linkages towards the country development objectives of economic diversification, job creation, poverty alleviation, and sustainable development from mining. To the glory of God and the benefits of mining in Nigeria, you stand inaugurated.
The roadmap for the development of the mining sector is divided in several phases for implementation. Since its launch, laudable achievements have been made in the Nigerian mining sector. Total capital allocation to the Ministry of Solid Mineral and Steel Development in 2015 was only 1 billion naira. Actual release of this to the ministry, as at the time Dr. Fayemi came into office, was less than 40%. For a country that wants to make something out of a solid mineral sector, this amount does not scratch the surface.
When I briefed Mr. President about it, that look, if we really want to use mining as a vehicle for diversification, things need to change in the ministry. He agreed with me. He asked for a plan. We gave the plan. For the first time, he approved an intervention fund for the sector. And we also started the reorganization and institutional strengthening aspects of our work.
An unprecedented increase in the capital allocation to the ministry from 1 billion in 2015 to 7.3 billion naira in 2016 was achieved. In addition to increased budgetary allocations, the MMSD for the first time in history secured approval to access 30 billion naira from the Natural Resources Intervention Fund for the promotion of the exploration of new minerals, as well as strengthen the regulatory capacity of the ministry. This is in addition to other facilities being sought for by the ministry from the World Bank and other financing bodies for the implementation of strategic intervention projects in the mining sector.
Fortunately, funding coming from government were able to access the natural resources fund. This is something we've never accessed before, and we are getting funding from the World Bank, and some other funding agencies have shown interest in us.
Dr. Fayemi and his partner met a greatly demoralized Ministry of Mines and Steel Development.
I would say without fear of contradiction that the mining and mineral sector, and indeed the steel sector, had been largely ignored, to the extent that individuals even posted to work in this sector were considered to be on punishment of some sort.
Staff of the ministry and its agencies did not even have the tools to carry out their activities the way it should be done. Regular meetings with staff in those early days was a way the minister got to know their needs and took steps to address them. With an improvement in its funding, the MMSD has, under Dr. Fayemi, been able to improve institutional capacity of the ministry. One way it has done so is through updating geological data that has been neglected for so long due to paucity of funds.
Data is very important. What do we have? In what quality? In what quantity? Is it of commercial value? Despite the fact that Nigeria has over 44 minerals that we've discovered yet, all over the country, and some of the best.
As updating geological data is being pursued tenaciously, staff welfare is not being neglected, while capacity building for staff has also been taken seriously.
In addition to ensuring that staff in the ministry are better motivated, their own concerns and issues were looked at and prioritized. Capacity building programs were put in place. Over the last 18 months that we were here, we must have put at least 15, 16 staff of the ministry and its agencies on tours and training programs in Australia, in Canada, in South Africa, next door in Ghana here. Our staff are regularly trained.
To the glory of God, and the benefit of mining communities all over Nigeria, I hereby commission these vehicles for the use of our federal mines officers.
Efforts have also been made to make sure monitoring units under the ministry have the necessary tools for work. Part of this effort saw the procurement of 38 utility vehicles for the use of the federal mines officers in the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT for the purpose of monitoring mining locations. It was a gesture well appreciated by the officers.
This will really help us to operate very well to the maximum capacity, and also to be able to go to some terrain that we were able to touch before.
Apart from increasing the capacity of the staff of the ministry, small-scale miners have also benefited from the improved funding to the sector. An initiative of the minister was to incentivize mining has seen to the formalization of miners hitherto referred to as illegal miners in order to better streamline their activities while increasing productivity.
Before now, they hardly get 10% of what the effort they put into mining. We are trying to encourage them to now make mining easy for them by providing for them funds to start off, machineries that they can use for mining, and for some of the investors, we've given them tax relief, and the percentage interest, the interest on what they will pay is very low. It's just at 5%. So
over 30 mineral buying centers have been set up to reduce illegal trading in solid minerals, thereby boosting revenue generation, just as the security of mining sites is being ensured. Moving a step further, the ministry under Dr. Fayemi put together a team of experts to work on the integrated automation and interactive solid mineral portal to serve as a one-stop shop online interface for anyone from any part of the world who wants to access Nigeria's mining potentials. Cadastrate properties, apply for licenses, make statutory payments, track progress on requests and applications, and more. The portal was launched in November 2017 as a great milestone in the history of mining in Nigeria.
Because for the first time, transparency and accountability is being brought into mining in the sector, using IT to drive it. And you and I know that the maneuvering IT that is a bit difficult, because once you log in, once you access the data, even when you want to bridge it or stop it, it will reveal. So, and that's why tracking becomes easy.
We are ready to work with the ministry to make the portal lively and also benefit from whatever, deliverable that we can get from the use of the portal.
Perhaps one of the greatest achievements of this administration in the Ministry of Mines and Solid Minerals Development is the resolution of the protracted litigations around the Ajaokuta Steel Company, which has rendered the complex dormant for over 8 years. A modified concession agreement between the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Global Infrastructure Nigeria Limited was executed on behalf of the Federal Government of Nigeria by His Excellency, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibanjo.
The fact that we had an Ajaokuta Steel mining company for so long, a steel company for so long, and that we had the Iron Mining Corporation for so long and yet produced absolutely nothing, is by itself a tragedy of immense proportions. But it's a good thing that we're now able to recover from all that and get on the path of getting things right and resuscitating both Niomco and I'm sure very quickly also Ajaokuta.
The implication of the signing is that ownership of Ajaokuta Steel Company Limited has now reverted to the federal government, and Nigeria can now proceed to engage a new core investor with the financial and technical capacity to run the steel complex. It is estimated that when Ajaokuta Steel Complex returns to production, it will save Nigeria about $3.3 billion annually spent on the importation of steel products. Other litigations around legacy assets are also being renegotiated so that Nigeria gets a good deal from her investments in solid mineral development. After about 18 months of systematically implementing the immediate and short-term recommendations of the roadmap for solid minerals development as drawn up by Dr. Fayemi's team, immediate results in revenue generation is already being witnessed. By the end of 2016, revenue from solid minerals sector was triple what was realized in 2015, and by the first half of 2017, revenue from the sector had surpassed the 2 billion realized in the whole of 2016, even as the sector recorded a growth of 2.24%. These improvements in revenue generation came basically from a more efficient collection of royalties and taxes, as well as blocking of revenue leakages by the ministry, all of which are a direct result of the reforms in the ministry.
And by our own assessment, we believe that at least 2% of GDP is being lost to illegal mining and illegal exploitation of mineral resources in the country. So tracking it and ensuring that we make those investors and companies to pay appropriately for what they're exploiting is number one project that we are operating in the sector.
But that is not the best news yet, as the minister himself announced at the IPAD Nigeria Mining Week held on the 17th of October 2017, the desire of the ministry to rebuild market confidence in Nigeria's minerals and mining sector has started yielding results as perceptions of the Nigerian mining jurisdiction have greatly improved. The Nigerian mining jurisdiction is now considered to have a better investment risk profile than Russia, China, India and New York.
Clearly, there's an improved perception of the Nigerian mining jurisdiction, and it is not me saying so, it's not the president of the Nigerian Miners Association of Nigeria saying so. This week, the Mining Journal, which many people who are in the industry are familiar with, released their World Risk Report, an annual comprehensive analysis of ranking investment risk of each mining jurisdiction on legal, governance, social, fiscal, and infrastructure components. And the journal indicates very clearly that Nigeria has made remarkable improvements in both hard risk and perceived risk factors.
For the first time in a long while, government is doing more than just paying lip service to mining and solid mineral development. And for the first time, tangible and measurable results can be seen. The outlook for tomorrow in the mining and solid mineral sector is good. And though Dr. Kayode Fayemi may describe himself as an accidental miner, nothing that has happened in the last 2 years is accidental. Far from it. All of it put together are sure deliberate steps taken with the conviction that now is the time to translate Nigeria's abundant solid minerals resources to meaningful and profitable reality.